Okay, here we go, guys. Ready? We're recording? Let's take my glasses off. Okay, ready? Theme music. Hit the theme music. Hit the theme music. Oh. Oh, yeah, welcome back to the DTV News podcast with absolutely no name. We got no name for this thing. And today we got a killer crew. We got a killer crew today. I'm with Caleb, the Madman Hirsch. I'm with Super Duper Coop. And I'm with Isaac, the graduate. What? Okay, anyways, how you guys doing today?
Pretty good. I had some lunch on the way here. Came to stop by, get a couple of things, but you know what? This sounded interesting, so now we're here.
Fair enough. Okay. All right, let's do a quick little intro of everybody, and let's start over here to my left. Caleb, what's going on, big dog?
I'm Caleb Hirsch. I'm the website guy, I guess.
Website guy, I guess.
I really like weather. That's about it.
He's really sure of his title. Okay.
Yes.
Cool. What you got?
I'm Cooper. I love politics. I did coverage during the 2022 midterms of DTV, and even more important, I love Taylor Swift.
Okay, fair enough. That's pretty much if you're not Taylor Swift, it's a non-starter around here. Okay, Isaac, where you at?
Hi, my name is Isaac Melton. I'm a DTV alumni. I'm currently a student at Mott Community College, and I'm going to be transferring to Central Michigan University in the fall.
Okay, so we got this crew on, and this crew, we got Cooper on here. He's our politics guy. So let's start there, right? Mm-hmm. So tell me what your image of politics these days is.
Oh.
Come on, Cooper, you first.
It's not good.
Tell me about it.
It's really, really scummy. So I recently had job shadow with our former Michigan representative, Dr. Kennedy. And just to hear like some of her inside experiences with politics, and this is the state level, it makes me wonder what's going on at the federal level. It's kind of crazy.
Can we get an example?
Ooh. I gotta think of one.
Crickets.
That's not crickets.
Oh.
Cricket. Oh.
It's also turned down.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, turn it up. Okay. One of those crickets. All right, never mind.
Okay.
All right, we'll come back to you. Give me an example, Isaac. Where's your take on politics these days?
To be honest, my parents have very opposing views on the political spectrum, so I've always kind of been more in the middle my whole life. Like, if we're talking about politics as a whole, I feel like it's definitely something that's necessary for, like, to maintain order, but I feel like the way it's currently being handled could be better.
Okay, all right. What's the worst part of it?
I'd have to say one of the worst parts of it comes with bias, because I feel like as long as you have one ideology that's opposing another ideology, there's always going to be a little bit of bias there when you're trying to, do something as widespread as managing an entire country. So trying to find the best solution while trying to keep certain agendas out of it, I feel like is definitely one of the most toxic parts of politics today.
Fair enough. All right, where are you at with politics?
Honestly, it's just, I feel like a lot of it's kind of scary because if you try to talk politics with anybody, it immediately turns into like a huge fight. Like you can't just like talk about any sort of new update with politics without it automatically turning into like a brawl or something.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Here's the thing. I'm a nerd. I like politics. I'm all into it, right?
Me too.
Do kids care?
I feel like there's a certain group. Not every single kid cares. Like if you try to get a kid to watch the news or something, or like tell them about politics or something, a lot of them won't care. But like there is a certain group in a niche at the school that are like very passionate about it.
For sure, I agree. I think my generation's definitely one of the most biggest generations with politics. I understand probably 10 years ago kids weren't as interested in it. But with the political environment today, definitely, I would say we're very into politics, most of us.
I feel like with at least my generation, our generation is mainly the same. From what I found, at least people that I know, particularly, they don't care about politics, but I feel like it's important as today as ever. And I noticed that less people are caring about it, the younger the generations go. But I feel like it's growing in importance. So I feel like that disconnect is kind of an issue where politics could never be more important, but the up-and-coming generation kind of really doesn't care about them.
Okay. What you got, Cool? Got that
Yep.
dirty story?
I do.
All right, he's going to give us the dirt. By
So-
the way, if you don't know, Representative Kenny, we're going to put her on blast here, was the former choir teacher here at Davidson High School who went on to be a principal and then a politician.
She's the nicest politician you'll ever meet. Love her no matter what you believe in. So she ran as the Democratic Party. The Republican Party purposely ran candidates against her that had a similar name to her. So people would be looking for Cheryl Kennedy in the primaries and be like, oh, that's similar to Cheryl Kennedy, and mark that name down instead of hers. And I think that was just a realization of politics really is politics.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. I thought I was going to get something crazier than that. All right, I thought maybe she was like embezzling money or something.
Oh, no.
No, not her, but she knew of it or something. We were trying to get breaking news on here.
Oh.
Cheryl Kennedy's an upstanding citizen. Let me clarify that.
I genuinely asked her, have you ever lied as a politician? She's like, no, never. And I admire that so much.
Okay, awesome. That's something to look
What if
up to.
that right there was a lie?
Oh, I don't think it was.
Nah.
No, she's too nice.
We interviewed her several times here, and she was always upfront with us. So I'm gonna think that's a good thing. Okay, all right, cool. Well, what do we think the future of politics is gonna be? It's a very messy landscape out there right now. Where do you think it's going? You think it's gonna get better anytime soon? How does it get better?
I don't want to say it, but I feel like if anything, it'll just get worse.
Why?
I don't know. I feel like no one the only way you can really the politic situation right now is just kind of talking about it, but nobody wants to talk about it. So
I think the way it got so bad is when it started to become personal in the way that sometimes people will attack a certain group of people and paint them as these manipulators, these people that want to change the way the kids are. And just that level of toxicity into politics, that's going to create a toxic environment, and that's going to make it harder for some people to still respect people on the opposite side.
Okay.
Like I
it's
said,
just turned into pointing fingers.
yeah,
For sure.
Your fault. Like that.
yeah.
Oh, of course, aim at us.
You better watch that finger.
But like I said, parents don't necessarily agree on politics, so I kind of witnessed firsthand just how it's kind of like, for an analogy, like if you're supporting two different sports teams and you kind of have to go with whatever side that you're teamed up with instead of kind of just appreciating the game, if that makes sense. So
I love that analogy.
yeah, it's kind of like where everybody feels this need to kind of support what they support without really double checking anything or fact checking themselves to know what's really going on.
Okay.
I feel like misinformation is just a big part of it, and people aren't really talking about that.
All right, good.
There's so many people that whenever there's any sort of vote or anything, they'll automatically see Democrat or Republican and just mark that party, no matter if they disagree with a bunch
Yeah.
of
For
others.
sure.
We're so divided that it doesn't matter what the issue is. We're going to talk about our team.
I know many people who they don't even go in and check what the candidates actual promises are or goals are for their presidency. It's just, oh, they're a part of the Democrats, or they're part of the Republicans, I'll vote for them.
Okay.
One reason why, or there's probably many reasons because of the situation she was in, but one reason why Dr. Kennedy lost her race was the straight down ballot. If someone wanted to vote for Trump, then whoever was the Republican candidate for the federal House, someone might just vote straight Republican and not actually consider all the options. So then those votes just counted against Dr. Kennedy, even if that person didn't research anything about that race.
Okay. All right. Let's talk a little bit about this. I saw this thing the other day, and it got me all fired up. Michigan, I don't know if you saw this. Michigan had the biggest youth vote turnout in the state's history, and they led the nation in young voting this last election, which I thought was huge, right? So let's look at this, right? If we got a huge population in the state that's voting, what are the issues that matter to you guys? I want to know what you guys want to see in change in politicians, and what matters to the young people these days when it comes to changing the world and casting votes.
I mean, I think the government should stay off our backs in the way that if we want to live a certain way, they should stop inflicting giving us laws that oh, if you're come back to me. Sorry, I need to put my words together.
I was gonna say.
I have a lot to say.
You're fine. 2 words come to mind, at least for me. Honesty is a big one for me, because, like I said, I feel like a lot of misinformation about what is actually going on is being spread, and we're like focusing on the wrong things. I feel like being as like open as possible with the public and like being honest about the issues that we're facing is very important moving forward, because I feel like the younger generations have lost a lot of trust in that. And the second thing that I would think of is just like facing issues head on, because I feel like we're kind of putting off a lot of our problems, like with the global warming situation, for example. Instead of like we do have like recycling and stuff like that, but we're not still really directly taking care of the problem, if that makes sense, because the US and China and many other countries are still like leading countries in pollution right now.
Okay. All right. Where are you at with this?
I personally really care about any sort of like social issues in politics or any sort of environmental issues. So like social issues as in like everybody, I feel like a lot of people nowadays automatically just think like all minorities are treated equal compared to the majority of like the United States. So like I feel like a lot of people automatically say like racism gone, but it's still not. Like a lot of people are still treated differently, especially in like larger communities like bigger cities and stuff. And then also same thing with like the LGBTQ community and stuff like that. And then environmental issues, I really care about the planet. Obviously, I'm part of the environmental club and everything, but I mean we only have one planet and we're kind of trashing it just so the rich can get richer and everything. And I get the idea of like, well, we can't stop oil drilling because then the gas prices will raise and everything, but I feel like there has to be some sort of way where we can still be humans and work efficiently in our own world, but also taking care of our world, because there's so many signs of the world itself literally dying in front of us, and we're just kind of watching and sitting like a
Okay. I got my words together. I'm sorry.
Let's start. Hit it.
So whenever the government makes laws that restricts people's personal rights, what they want to do with their bodies, whether that's transitioning or whether that's terminating a pregnancy, overall that encouraged a lot of youth to want to be able to vote, because I think if my generation or our generation has one opinion, is that a lot of times we think the government can overreach and then they need to stay off our backs.
Okay, so personal issues are big for you guys. Environmental issues, honesty, I heard too. These are pretty good things. Okay, cool. Let's freelance this a little bit. Let's get off politics a little bit, right? And let's I guess we're gonna go back to politics, but in a different way. All right. We talked about lies. We talked about honesty. We talked about division.
Taylor Swift for president.
2024.
How would she not win?
I don't know.
I think she'd do okay.
Should get the popular vote, you'd think.
How about that electoral college though?
I'd vote for her.
I think she'd win in Nebraska and Kansas and all these other places. I think she'd win down south. Okay, get off this topic. Okay. All right. Let's go to this. How does the news and the information you get affect what's going on in the real world when it comes to politics?
Ooh, some news agencies might want to skew the news a certain way to make, if like a certain news agency reports on a story, they could skew the information to make one side sound horrible in the situation. And then if you like that story, like you like the way they tell it, you're almost automatically able to agree with that. And then it's just a rabbit hole from there.
Yeah.
I mean, like, if you look up a certain issue or a certain case, like recent case, you'll get a bunch of different news organizations, but the, like, headline will be different on every single one of them. Like, one could be like, this person did this awful thing, and the other one was just like, this person was convicted of it. That doesn't necessarily mean, like, I feel like there's so much bias in news right now. If you go to a news organization, you're automatically going to kind of know Democrat or Republican.
I
stuff
agree.
Like that.
Yeah. No, I feel like, yeah, I definitely feel like news stations do have some bias depending on what station you watch, but to that right, yeah, obviously. But I think to that right, that's also just like people kind of just like, it's like the same thing with the sports themes thing. People kind of stick to one news station and like everything that news station says they kind of follow as what's going on. I feel like another big factor is like doing your own research a little bit. Like if you see a story that's like affecting you or interests you, I feel like going up to like double check on that online or like research what they're talking about, being like, hey, this is something that's affecting me in the future. I want to know more about it. I feel like it's important to go and look for more about that than to just kind of assume whatever is being told to you.
Okay. All right. Last question I'm going to hit you guys with. Our political system as it is right now, do we A, keep it? Do we 2, make some changes to it? Or should we blow it up and start over?
Burn it.
Really?
Yeah.
Get rid of democracy?
No, not democracy. I mean, like the electoral college.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
All right. So those are the changes. All right. Let's say that. Which one would you want, and what changes do you want to see?
I would love, first of all, ranked choice voting. Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
I love that idea.
Explain that real quick.
Okay, ranked choice voting. I got this. So let's say you got 4 candidates in a race, and you really want this one person to win, but no one else does. You, with ranked choice voting, would still have the opportunity to do that. You see, you would mark them as number 1, and let's say, old Schmo, they're second place because everyone loves them, just not really you, but you'd be fine with them because you really hate Schmo. What you would do is you'd vote Joe Schmo for number 2 because just in case your candidate doesn't win, hey, you got a backup. And then if you vote for that way, you'll make sure that the candidate you don't want, the one candidate you really don't want, doesn't get in. So you would take a mediocre candidate over a candidate you don't like.
So instead of just being one winner, one absolute loser, you could rank them, and whoever comes out with the most points. So it might not be the one with the most first place points, but if you got the most first and second place votes, then you're the candidate. Then you win, right?
For
and
sure.
so it's more of a general consensus as opposed to a yes or no, right? That kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. All right, where you at?
I actually agree with Coop on that. I didn't know that was a thing until now. I'm going to be
It
honest.
is. A lot of places
But
do it
that
already.
does-
Not a
yeah.
lot of places, but some states. I know Alaska, Maine. Yeah. There's a
That-
few places that do it.
That to me does sound more effective. I do think I'm more in the middle. I think some changes definitely need to be made. I feel like democracy as an idea is probably the closest we're going to get to like a functioning government, but I feel like there are some changes, like Cooper said, that do need to be changed. Like, I do think that the ranked voting system is probably a lot more effective than our current electoral college.
Okay, and Coop, when you said burn it down, I think you meant make changes to it because you like democracy.
Oh,
but we
I meant
gotta-
like, I thought you were talking about the electoral college. No, I'm
was talking
very,
about- yeah.
I love democracy. No.
Okay, cool. That's
I
fair
am
enough.
not a dictator.
Fair enough. Many people feel the same way about the electoral college and ranked choice voting too.
Mhm.
So I feel you on that. So just want to make sure you weren't an anarchist over here.
Oh, no.
Just kidding. It's okay if you are. We're just expressing views, right?
Yeah.
Okay, where you at?
I'd say make a few changes. Like, I definitely agree. No electoral college. I feel like it takes the power away from everyday people, which America was built on, and it gives power to like a few, select few, and I don't like that.
Eat the rich.
But you know, people in Iowa would say that then all the people in New York and California have all the power, and people in Iowa who think they're the regular people, they don't have the power.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't know.
Okay.
Well,
I don't like how it currently is.
the thing
Maybe
is-
we can make some changes to it, or just make a whole new system that's like it but different. I don't
Yeah.
know. I get the idea of like, obviously bigger states that have more population are gonna have more power in that situation, but I don't know. I just don't like the election.
Okay.
It's about finding that balance.
Exactly.
Because I think that the founding fathers, they had an idea going with trying to select like representatives, so that way there's still like, for like the sake of smaller populations, they still have a chance to like have a say. But I feel like, again, a lot of bias comes to selecting one representative or two representatives, because then whatever their views are is going to be the views for their whole state. And maybe somebody in their state disagrees with them and they don't really have a say in that anymore, because then it's up to those one or two people.
But also, there's been like, I want to say like maybe it was just one, but maybe there was a few too. But there was a few candidates that would win like popular vote by a landslide, and then the electoral college comes in, and the other person wins, and that other person gets elected instead of the person that won popular vote.
Yeah, that's happened in several of our last elections.
So yeah.
Yeah, Hillary Clinton
For sure.
Al Gore had that problem.
Andrew Jackson.
Andrew Jackson had that problem. I don't know if that's a fact, but I just wanted to say what you said.
A push.
We'll have to look at that. Oh, A push. So you got that. All right, Babe still told us what's up. Oh, Pulso's on that one. Sorry about that.
Shout out to you, Miss Balsa.
All right, cool. All right, guys. Anything else to share before we go?
Love each other.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Love each other. That's a good way to end this thing. I'm going to send a shout out to Hunter for Tyler because he's in the house today, and we're out. We'll catch you on the next. Oh, I just muted myself. We'll catch you on the next episode of the podcast with no name.
I love you, Taylor Swift. Please come to Davison.